everybody, Edo here, and this is Exit the Game. I have the Abandoned Cabin and the Pharaoh's Tomb. This is by Kosmos, and if you haven't played an Exit title, or an Exit the Room like in real life, and you have no idea what these are, they're awesome, but they're super unique, and so I won't be opening them or actually breaking into the components or anything. I'm just going to give you an idea of what this series is like, and I'll compare them a little bit, but I highly recommend checking these out. I think they're cheap enough that you should try one with your friends and see if it's for you. But basically the idea with an Exit the Game or Unlock, there's a number of different series. These started as, I don't know if they started this way, but the idea was you'd go to a location, a room, you'd be locked in a room, and you have to figure your way out, and it's a series of dastardly riddles and hard challenges, and somebody's trying to see if you're smart enough to survive, or like this, like Saw, but not with disembodiment and craziness, right? And so you would go to a location. Some of them are like, this isn't, you like pay to do this. You go and you're like sitting at a table with a lot of groups. There was a Zelda one in San Francisco, which was awesome, and there was like tables of 8, and there was like 80 people doing it. Or it's more limited, where you go in and you're with your friends, and those are the only people involved. And essentially, you're handed a series of questions and papers and parchments and props, things you have to destroy, take apart, look underneath, see the clues, decipher, go through your brain in both math riddles, spatial riddles, word plays, observation, whole 9 yards. It is awesome brain project challenge, fun, creative experience. I really think it's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed everyone I've been out to. And at some point in the last year or two, they started making these in-the-box versions. I have to say, they do a pretty good job of capturing the experience, but you do it at home and at your own pace. You're timed. But, it's less involved. Certainly, if you're thinking about doing an exit room, like a real one, doing one of these is a great intro to it, and will actually get your brain moving so you don't feel as sort of hamstrung as you get into it in a timed environment where you're paying a lot of money to go do it. For sure, there's tropes and things that these all do that you get used to, and sort of you can start having shortcuts oh, they're clearly talking about something I have to flip over, or I gotta look for this thing. Anyway, so what's in one of these? Well, in here, they're essentially the same. Is you have a decoder ring, and it's a big ring. You can see it here on the back. And you use this to figure out the answers. All of the answers in this one, they're hieroglyphs. In this one, they're numbers. But you are turning the rings, you're getting the 3 in a row to find out an answer card. Once you find out the answer card, that card then has a number of visual clues. And if you can connect the answer card with the right clue, it puts you to another answer card, which is a success and moves the game forward. So you're going to use the decoder ring to find out if you're right, basically. Like in a event, a lot of those things, you have to go talk to somebody or something happens. You don't necessarily have this little decoder ring, but that's how they solved, there's no host. The AI, the solution to know if you know you're right is this decoder ring. But essentially, there's the ring, there's a deck of cards, which are the clues and the answers, and then there's this manual. And the manual will give you the introduction. There's a how to play these types of games, and then there's the actual fictional story, like the Forgotten Journal, or the evil genius's notes to you, or whatever. And it's a booklet. Usually it has some fiction up front. Read the fiction. Always important to know that stuff. And then just a series of all these visual, spatial, letters, numbers, colors, sort of riddle components. But looking through it, it's gibberish. You then look through it, in this game, this set, there's one starting clue, and you look through the book, and you're oh, I see the W. They always start you got to read through it to find the one. And when you find it, you flip it over, and it gives you a number more of the clue cards. And you're flipping over clue cards and basically using them to figure out the riddles. Very little direction here. I mean, you got to be oh, this one is about this character, and the character was on that page, so it must be related there. Like, you really have to be able to have this sort of leap thought. Sometimes you're given more information than you're needed for that clue. Like, you'll get information that you sort of hang on to for later. So there's just a lot of leaps of imagination, looking around. It's totally unique. I didn't mention it. This is one time. You play this once with friends, and then you know all the answers, and you've solved it. They give I forgot. They also have hint cards. Each sort of clue series has 3 hints. First one's simple clue, medium clue, and then the answer. So it's not like you'll never know the answer, and for sure it's in this box. So you can get like a piece of paper and a scissor too, but it's basically in the box. And you flip it over, and then you get scored on the number of cards you flipped for hints versus the time, and they have a little chart for it. One of the things that we're doing is we played it, Emily and I, with some other adults for different ones, but we're actually going to play it to our kids, and probably, because they're 7 and 9, which is probably a little young to get through all of this, and we'll likely be like the hosts for them and help them out as they go, and lots of cool learnings in here. I will note, they're mostly interchangeable. Like, this is a little harder, but the core mechanics, the types of clues, they're all a little different, but they're just like similar experiences. I hear this one's easier. I would say it is, but they always have that question that's just so obscure that you're like, and you like fight with it. I would also stress it's really important to make sure like you use the dial correctly and get the number right, or you read the rules up front. It's really easy to get into a hole for 30 minutes and realize like, oh, I just was looking at the wrong symbol. Oh, we were right the whole time. That happens more than you'd want. Between the two, I think the Abandoned Cabin's a little easier. Do they have a difficulty on the back? They're rated the same, so I guess they're about the same, and I would say that was true. Do you want to be in an abandoned cabin, or do you want to be in a Pharaoh's tomb, right? Like, I guess that's it. But once you've played one and you like it, you're like, just give me another one. Just give me another one. Just give me another one. We're going to do this every Friday night. It's amazing, right? So I think that's awesome. Only other qualm I have is, like, I don't love the hint system because most of the time or often you're, like, on the right track, but you're, like, stuck on something. And almost always the hints start with the obvious. And, I mean, it's good. Like, they're like, here's a little hint and here's a little bit bigger hint. But you're sort of charged for every card. And you're like, I don't need the little hint. I know I'm on the right page. I just don't understand what these numbers mean. That's all. I just need help there. And there's nothing, they could really do about it. But if you haven't done one of these, they're out of print, or some of them out of print. But you should be able to get it for $15, $20, $25 depending on Amazon Prime or whatever. Super fun. More of them are coming. There are other series. Like, we just picked up the Unlock series. Haven't played it yet, but looking forward to it. This one uses an app. I don't know. I'll review that. But I suspect there's another in this initial exit one. It's probably about the same, and when we can find it online, we'll pick it up. So, highly recommend you check it out. Super fun, different type of gaming. Subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Most importantly, play some great games. Thanks.